Hi guys, welcome to day 3. Me and
What up,
Keela, or me and Happy,
what up?
once again.
Quick win for the win, and pineapple. Go by Happy.
Alrighty, so yeah,
What are we
day
in?
3. We are in day 3,
Oh,
and what is the question today?
Question
Happy?
today is,
What?
how was the love between you and your family members? Woo! And if you're
That's-
anything like her and many others, it's a very, very touchy subject because I want you to really think about yourself and how that relationship is between your parents, siblings, and then even extended family. And then I want you to think to yourself, does anybody that you really know have strong bonds or strong relationships? And I mean healthy relationships, something where what is that, the hashtag goals, where you like I wish I had, I wish I had that type of a relationship with my family, with the siblings, with the parents, that's like really, really strong. Is there an example of that in the people that you know in your life? And for many, it isn't. You may see it on TV, you may see it, you may hear other friends talk of it, but is there an example that you can actually see and refer to? And unfortunately not. And I like to ask after that is, why do we even go in this area? Why do we have this as the third question? And it's real simple. A lot of the behaviors, a lot of the actions, a lot of the decisions that we make, and on a daily basis, career basis, whatever it may be, a lot of influence comes from our family, from the environment, from the place that we came from, that we grew up in, and whether those things, whether that life or your upbringing was healthy, it has such a huge influence. And to be able to go into each family member that you have can actually really give you and others a big tell, an indicator on who you are. And it will actually help you be able to articulate this yourself even better, and why you make certain decisions, and why you feel certain ways, and why some of the triggers that you may have and feel come out the way they do. Because that's what this is all about, right? This is only level 1 of the level 3 that we have. So we'll start here. So I'm gonna throw it over to the Miss Quick Queen for the win. And
Yeah.
How would you say is the love between you and your family members, and how has that improved upon your growth and your journey by just being able to become more aware of that, and then being able to, when you're aware, because it's one thing to know it and be able to fully grasp it, another is actually to articulate and express it.
Yes.
And then the last, because that's level 2. And then the last one is taking action upon that. Because even doing nothing is an action itself. So that's what I mean by level 1, level 2, level 3, which we're going to start growing upon and building upon, here shortly.
Yeah.
So
the love between my family members has been very rocky and inconsistent. And I would say, you said something about like me being aware, like what has transpired from me being aware about the relationships that I have with my family members. It has allowed me to be less angry at them and wanting to practice responding versus reacting to them.
Right.
When I think about my parents, I have...
Would you say responding or listening?
Listening.
Because it's listening,
and
then would you say responding?
Yeah, because you can't respond if you're not listening to...
Or you actually reacting is responding. Right?
Well, people have this thing where like responding, is actually a processing action. It's an action that you do after processing. When you react, you're reacting upon a trigger. There's no processing at all whatsoever. There's no awareness, whatever. You're just reacting upon how you're feeling. So
okay, I get that.
Yeah. So that's what I mean by responding. Because when you respond, that is a reaction. You can respond in a reaction.
Yes.
So but through the processing and the awareness, I've been able to respond better. instead of, like, for an example, one of my
then
sisters.
responding with anger
Exactly.
over
And
triggers, right? You're triggered.
yeah, and a big one was with my mom and my sisters. Mostly the one that's right after me, we have had so many arguments. And so when I started to become aware of the love that we have, like, when did it disconnect? Why did it disconnect? Why did the love stop? Why is the love so rocky, like up and down? It's like a roller coaster. We'll be arguing, like hating each other, and then a couple hours later we're fine, you know, or we actually act like nothing happened. But I know in some ways it might sound like, oh, that's good that you guys were able to kind of like brush it aside, but that's the thing, we brushed it aside. There is something rooted in why we argue. And we're not actually talking about that rooted issue. So, and then that's why we are where we are today. But I would say the relationship with me and my mother has improved a lot because I've been putting what I've been aware of into action. Like, I'm aware that, you know, my mom, she was taught a certain way how to raise kids.
Yes.
And so whether that's good or bad, the way that I received it caused me to look love elsewhere because I wasn't receiving the type of emotional love that we covered in the, you know, the first question.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to receive that, and there was a lot of telling me what to do. So, and a lot of judgment, a lot of criticism, and that pushed me even further away from the relationship with my mom. So that's what's all coming up. Like, it's not until I'm aware of it and by working on myself that I'm able to actually practice something else to actually show love towards my mom versus resentment, or just being straight up triggered and just reacting and not even, no one's listening to each other. Like, oh my goodness,
because everybody wants to be right. Everyone needs and wants to be heard.
Yes, correct. Yeah, like, for an example, even with that realization, I'm like, okay, the reason why my mom wants to shove things down my throat all the time and like shout at me or like constantly tell me what to do, and I saw myself doing that with other people, and I realized, oh, it's because I don't feel heard, so I have to like almost like force my voice in, like, and I don't have the space to listen to anybody because you need to listen to me because I'm unheard.
Yeah.
So
it's a lesson a lot of people haven't become aware of.
Yeah.
You know, and haven't developed, you know, that. Yeah, I could go on and on, but.
Yeah, but I would say I've been practicing the most with my mom. So I would say the love is more felt between me and my mother than any family member right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say it's because she's more of a? I wouldn't say. Maybe she is a safe space. She is a safe person.
Yes,
yeah,
and
she proclaims.
Yes, she believes that she's a safe person. She believes that she hasn't done anything wrong. Yeah. She's done everything right, you know, as a mom, and it wasn't until I started a journey. More receptive, and she was the one that tried the most with me.
No matter how many mistakes.
Yeah, no matter how triggering it was, no matter how she's doing it, but the thing is, she shows up regardless. So I saw that as, you know what, if I can change and adjust the way that I respond to her, perhaps there's a chance of us actually listening to each other. And you guys, it's been quite magical. Like what I've seen my mom responding back to me and the types of conversations that we've had. It's mind-blowing.
Right?
It's mind-blowing thinking about how we are today than before. Yeah, I see it continuing to improve. I'm just so happy that we're here where we are right now.
Right? Because I want to give them a picture on what that looks like. You know, because it's in levels.
Yeah.
Right? Normally, I'm not going to say everyone, but I will say a good amount of people, a good portion of people, a good percentage of individuals with their parents, the discussion really isn't a discussion, right? The talks really isn't a talk. It's more of a greeting. Hi, how are you?
How's work?
How's work? You know, more of the superficial type of questions and responses. You know, it's more of a unconscious, planned out greeting, right? We don't even know. We just
It's
know
automatic.
It's just
Yes.
how it works.
Yeah.
Anytime people get together, the pleasantries. Oh, how are you? How are the work? How are the kids? It's just real monotonous, right? That's the shadow level, the lack of depth that many of us have with the relationship with our parents, because it's tough to crack that. I brought you into this world. I raised you to this certain age. I sacrificed so much for you, and for them, the parent or the guardians, to have space to be able to accept what you have to add or you have to provide to them, or being able to be equal. It's not likely. It's not likely, because remember, I just mentioned, they raised you, they sacrificed, they
birthed you out.
They brought
well,
you up into
the
this
mom.
world. So it's not, for the most part, it's not an equal footing, you see, and that's how parenting usually is. So that's why it's normally so one-sided, right? Because when we grow up, when we come of age, and we need to be treated as equals, we still don't feel that way, and that's hence why the pleasantries are so basic, so monotonous, because people want to avoid the confrontation, right? And so that was her, that was her experience with her parents every single time she came around. See, and that's normally what would you say? That's what happens to most.
Yeah.
Now, here's the next level, right? Where you're able to ask parents, the people who brought you into this world, the guardians, and you're able to ask them questions and have them think, instead of them always telling you what's right, what to do. You're actually asking them a question that has them sit back, reflect, and a majority of the times they don't know the answer. Like, for example, when you ask a question about their past, right? Because for the most part, a lot of us don't even ask anything of our parents, about how they grew up, what city, what province, what country, what situation, environment that they grew up in, because that's just the level one question. But to ask them how or what the experience was like, to explain what it was like growing up in the country that they grew in, or the environment they grew up in, not many people get to hear that from their parents. You see, and so that's just one of the questions. She actually was starting to be curious. She needed to know where her mom came from. She needed to know how that impacted her thought process, the way she makes decisions now, the way she makes her parenting decisions, and how she adjusts that as she got older and as her and her sisters got older. You see? And that's the second level, right? You got the shallow, you got the first level, and then you got the next level after that, which is being on equal terms, or having the parents or the guardians actually hear you out. See, for parents, guardians, people who brought you, help birth you or help raise you, when you can get to a place where you're on equal footing, or that's the next level, they can actually hear you out, you've almost made it.
Yeah.
You've almost made it, because the next level after that is you're on equal footing. See? So that's what I mean by it takes levels. There's no certain amount of time that, in 10 days this is going to happen. In 10 days this is going to happen. And the 30th day, you're going to be, having the best relationship ever with your parents or siblings. No, there's no timetable. There is no timetable, unfortunately. But you can grow yourself.
Yes, that is the key right there.
It's not move in the direction. You grow yourself to help them realize that the person that they once believed in their head of who you are is no longer that same person. It's somebody better, bigger, stronger, emotionally fitter. When you grow, that's what they're gonna see. And that's what they're gonna, oh wow, I raised this, you know, I helped this person. When that starts to switch, when that paradigm for their idea of you starts to shift, you're on the right path. You know, and that's how you know it's working.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Yeah. So I have a question that came up while you were talking, because those of you guys who are listening in, right, you're like, man, well, how do I, you know, like there's healthy, I'm just feeling healthy boundaries too, because sometimes it's just so negative that you need to distance yourself from your family members, for an example. And I would say perhaps that means, you know, you really get to focus on yourself first. And then I feel like the bridges will start to emerge out naturally, because if you have growth, you have the space to figure out how to start really repairing and healing with your family members. You know, because that's going to take a lot of space. So I mean, that's just what's coming up for me as I'm listening to you, because that's what I had to do. It was very shallow, you know, as far as like the connections with my family for a long time. And so I kind of tuned out and tuned in here first. And then the levels, you know how you said from the shallow, and then like, was it level 1? Is it level 1 shallow?
No, so it's shallow, then level 1,
level 1, 2, and level 3.
There's maybe a level.
Yeah.
You know, it's just small steps. You can maybe put together the level 2 and 3, because, or not. But actually, yeah, you can. Because I put everything in 2s and 3s, 2s and 3s. That's how you know you've broken it down. Yeah.
So as you're journaling, perhaps when you mention a family member and you're describing how the love relationship is with that person, you can see where you are. Is it like shallow, kind of level 1, shallow, level 1? So you can really see. And if you really want to go deep, go asking yourself, why do you believe that is?
Exactly.
Why is the relationship the way it is today?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole goal. It's just to become aware of it, to be able to grasp the whole relationship.
Yeah.
The whole relationship.
Awareness, reflection, that's why these questions.
And being able to, because we were just chatting about it today, it's one thing to become aware of everything and to see it and actually know it, but there's another realization when you know you need to accept it. Because that's where the slam dunk comes. Because once you accept it, you can actually start creating something to create the action. So that's it with that said. Anything else before we wrap this up?
That's it. We know this was a big topic because it's family. We're talking about your love relationship with each of your family members. So if you guys have any questions that came out from listening to us or from your own thought process, please leave it down below. And again, we will be on Saturday live at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, answering all of it, diving into all of it. So
please journal it out, because this is level 1. This is level 1, and it takes time.
Glad you're here with us doing the work.
Bring the questions, bring the good vibes, even bring the bad ones,
Safe space.
So we can help you iron it out.
Yeah.
So with that said, always love from me to you. Hello Smiles. This is the quick queen for the win. Please everyone, please stay mental.
See you on day 4.